Guys, this old project may just got a breath of fresh air. I'm excited. Let me explain. Mentioned this dozer a few times on the channel, guys. 1950 something D69u that belonged to my dad. For this video to make sense, I need to give you guys a little bit of history and a little bit of background about how this dozer come to be and how it ended up sitting here in this condition. All right, standing on the front porch of the house here, guys, taking a little walk back through time. I personally live on the 500-acre family farm here in Derby. Jen and I have 5 acres here where our house sits. My brother next door has 5 acres where his house sits. But 25 years ago, this looked completely different. Everything you see here was woods, and my mom and dad had intentions of building a house right there just over the hill. Now, as you guys see me come and go from our property, we actually access our house from behind us on a county road. Mom wanted to access her house from the state highway, which is right down there, which entailed building a road up the front hill here. That's where the old D69u come into play. Standing on the bottom side, looking up, there is still remnants of the old road coming up through there. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but you have to imagine when we started on this was all trees. Now, a little bit of history of my dad. He was actually a heavy equipment operator by trade, worked the majority of his life in the coal mines, the strip coal mines, as a dozer operator. So whenever this project come to be, got a couple different quotes on building this road up through there. And 20 years ago or 25 years ago, I believe it was going to be about a $40,000 endeavor. So the thought process was, let's go out, buy an old dozer, fix it up, we'll build the road ourselves and save all kinds of money. And that's when the first D69u come to be. So I'm going to reference multiple different dozers in this videos, and I'm going to try to keep it as straight as I possibly can. But the very first dozer we purchased was a D69u out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, that a college roommate of mine helped me locate. The story on it was a good running dozer. The guy put water in it, cracked the block, parked it, sat for about 10 or 15 years, and never did anything with it. So we were able to locate a spare engine block from a local guy down here. We were able to get that dozer bought for scrap price, which back in the day was like $2,000. And I think it cost about $4,000 to get the dozer shipped down here. So we had about $3,000 in the dozer, and but we still had some work ahead of us. So at this point, guys, we got our first dozer and we got some parts. Grandpa had just recently built this barn on the farm, and we kind of took it over as our makeshift shop back in the days. This technically was my very first shop. I did a lot of work out of this shop until I actually got my shop up on the hill built. You can still see remnants of us down here working. This is the A-frame that was left over we built to pull all the engines out of the dozers. Still got the old air compressor down there. I even still got a few tools laying around down here. But we quickly realized once we started tearing into these dozers, we were going to need more parts than what we had on hand. And Dad did a little shopping in the old Thrifty Nickel. You guys remember the Thrifty Nickel? It used to be a classified ad paper. And he found a guy over in West Virginia that had 3 D69us for sale. 2 of them were complete, not running, but one of them supposedly had a good engine, and the other one was pretty much torn down in parts. $5,000 for 03. Had a local guy that owned a trucking company, so we made one of those Sunday runs over there and hauled all the parts back. So the goal at this point was to take all 4 dozers we had and try to piece one good running dozer together. And if you look close enough around the farm, you'll still see a few remnants of the old dozers. Random bulldozer blade sitting in the middle of the woods. Haven't looked at this stuff for so long, nature has taken over, but if you guys look close right there, there's actually a chassis there. It's complete with transmission and final drives, no engine, no track frame, no nose cone on it, but still a lot of good parts there. Somewhere back behind me in the weeds back there, I do actually have one of the 12-foot manual 6-way blades. I think a lot of people refer to them as the backfill blades. So I've got one of each blade for the dozer, but I can't even find it. It's back there. I promise you it's back there, but it's grown in the weeds somewhere. Last few remaining parts I've been able to kind of keep tucked away in the barn here. This is actually the original engine that came out of the first dozer we did the block swap on. It's got a few issues I'll cover here in a minute. Do still have some good steering clutches, got one decent cylinder, some guards, some shields. Got a couple injection pumps over there. I tried to save what I could. Unfortunately, during a big farm cleanup about 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of stuff made it to the scrapyard. So now we got the original dozer, we got our 3 parts dozers. Basically what we did over the course of the next year and a half is we pulled all those dozers in the shop and we pretty much stripped them down. Track frames, undercarriages, engines, transmissions, we pulled them all out. We took what we thought was the best of the best parts at that time, pieced this thing back together. We converted it from pony motor start to electric start. We took the 12-foot blade off, put the 9-foot blade, straight blade on, and voila, guys, we basically at that point had us a good old-fashioned operating D69u dozer. It's time to go to work and build a road, right? So now that we got us a decent running and operating dozer, the next logical thing to do is start working on the road, right? And that's exactly what Dad and I did for the next several months on the evenings and weekends. But unfortunately, guys, Dad was killed in a tragic accident with the dozer working on the road. I don't want to go into a bunch of great detail about that, guys, but I want to hit on a few things. As I mentioned before, Dad was a heavy equipment operator and was his whole life. He was one of the safest people I've ever met on a piece of equipment. Preached safety to me pretty much non-stop. I was present when the accident happened. I didn't actually see the physical accident happen, but to this day we still don't know. We still don't know for sure what happened, and I don't think we ever will know what happened. We do know what the result is, unfortunately, but this year, August 10th, 2022, will be the 20-year anniversary of losing Dad. It's hard to believe it's been that long. The road is still here. You guys seen us use this road in several videos. This is a little bit different version of what was left after Dad's accident. I've worked on it 2 or 3 times over the years. At the time of his death, it was nothing more than a 4-wheeler trail. We have pretty much got it to where you can get a car up and down it, but it's a far cry from being done. It's one of the things on my list I want to finish. I've had a hard time finding the motivation to do it. So guys, for the next year and a half or so after the accident, I pilled with the dozer a little bit, did a few things here and there, worked on the road a little bit, got it somewhat usable, but you know, I kind of lost my mentor when it came to operating, and I was pretty green on equipment back then, so didn't have a whole lot of experience. But Mom made the decision that she was not going to build down there, which enticed me to make the decision to actually go ahead and build up here on the farm. Keep in mind, this is a completely different location than what Mom was going to build. But if you guys can imagine, that hillside come down like this, basically straight through my house. And let me tell you, me and the old D69u, we had many long nights up here. Some of them good, some of them not so good, but we moved a lot of dirt and pretty much did all the dirt work for the building site here. This is all trees, all woods, cleared pretty much all of it, put the driveway in, and this right here is where I learned how to operate a dozer. And this right here was all done with that old D69u. I think back today, what I do with my modern equipment, and even with the 850J, this still would have been a pretty good sized job back in the day. But I tell you what, man, me and the old dozer got it done. And the life lessons learned on this project are still paying dividends today for sure. So that brings us full circle back to here, guys, and how do we get into this condition? So for the next 5 or 6 years after the accident, I continued to use the dozer quite a bit. I actually built the lake up at the go-kart track where the water slides at, hold it out on a couple building pad jobs, hold it out on a couple land clearing jobs. I don't know for sure. If I had to guess conservatively, there's a chance I may have put close to 1,000 hours on this dozer back in the day, which is absolutely incredible and hard to believe. But overall, that use, it started showing its age. The first major issue we had is the original engine, which is the one up there in the barn. It started losing compression, using a bunch of oil, and pretty much got to where it wasn't usable no more. At that point, I pulled this dozer into my new shop up there and did an engine swap, put that engine in there. That was supposedly the good engine I had left over from the other 3 dozers we bought. Unfortunately, as soon as I fired it up, it immediately started putting water in the oil. It wasn't good either. And then from there, life kind of took over. Got married, had kids, started a business, and this thing, unfortunately, has just kind of got neglected. It didn't have the time or the money or the resources to really put into it. I've mentioned in several videos in the past as soon as Lieutenant Dan is done, this is the next project's going in the shop to get this thing back in operating order. And it's really cool because Gunner's starting to show some interest in getting this. He kind of understands, we call him Paw Frank, and the importance of the dozer. And he's kind of been on me a little bit here to get this project in the shop and start moving forward with it, which has definitely been some pretty good encouragement for me. But the reality of it is, we got to face the facts. We got to face the reality. This dozer is about 7 or 8 dozers pieced together to make one. This was the best parts I had at the time. And everything on it is still flat wore out. It is in bad shape. Undercarriage has been sitting so long, it's all froze up. Transmission's full of water. I'm pretty sure it's got a final drive going out of it. We know the engine's bad. Both cylinders were leaking last time I was using it. I mean, facts are the facts. And I've mentioned several times on some videos that I've been looking for a good parts dozer or a good donor dozer to maybe where I could do the same thing I did in the past, take 2 or 3 dozers and make one good one. My ultimate goal is to have one good operating D69u dozer. You guys have sent me all kinds of links, which I greatly appreciate it, but I just haven't found that one that made a whole lot of sense. A lot of parts dozers out there for about $5,000, a lot of good running dozers out there for $8,000 to $10,000, but they were all missing guards and shields or beat up or had an issue. Just nothing really caught my attention until this one popped up on Facebook Market Side the other day. So as I'd mentioned, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've just been kind of keeping my eye out there on Facebook Market Side, Machine Trader, eBay, different places, looking for different dozers. And this one popped up. If you guys look close at the picture, it looks pretty complete. I mean, all the track guards are still on it. I can see a toolbox and a battery box on the side of it. It says it runs good. $4,200. I'm like, this cannot be for real. So, and it's only like 4 hours from me. Messaged the guy immediately, and he said it was still pending. I'm like, yeah, go figure. So, got to thinking about, like, man, I've been looking for a long time, and I have not seen a dozer in that shape yet. So I messaged the guy back. I said, listen, I'm serious. If that guy falls through for any reason whatsoever, I'll bring you $6,500 cash and come pick the thing up. He said, okay, thanks. I'm like, all right. At least now if I don't get the dozer, I threw all I had into it, right? 2 weeks go by, he messaged me. He says, hey, guy backed out. You still want the dozer? I said, I'll be there tomorrow. So tomorrow, me and Gunner are taking off on a little road trip. And we're gonna go pick us up another dozer. So I am so excited. I hope the pictures don't disappoint me, because this could be a diamond in the rough. This could be a really good find. Gunner's excited about it. I'm excited about it. Hopefully you guys join us in the morning and we're gonna hit the road. You ready? Yeah. You excited? Mm-hmm. You got all your snacks for the road trip? Mm-hmm. All right, hammer down. 4 hours later, we're almost there.
Yay!
I think it's right over there somewhere.
Somewhere over there.
Somewhere over there, according to the GPS.
What does the GPS say?
It says that it's right there.
So it's...
Oh, I see it, Gunner. See it sitting right there in that field.
Oh, yeah,
See it?
I see it.
too bad, does it?
Just talking about that thing down
All right, well, let's pull in here and get turned around and get her loaded up. What do you think, Gunner? Looks pretty good, don't it?
It's a good old dozer. Hits practically full of fuel and everything else, and
That's a $500 savings right there.
yeah, it's kind of ridiculous what the price of the gas is.
Get the old pony motor kicked off here. Oh, loose connection.
Yeah, I don't want to touch it with your fingers, really.
Sounds good.
Got you baseballs.
Check that out, Gunner.
They're from guys that played in the big leagues. And then
So them your actual cards?
those are my actual cards.
That is cool.
I had a couple others made with the Orioles and Red Sox, but they only made very few of them, and I can't find any. I signed a couple for people, but I can't find any. But the value went down when I signed it, of course.
Tell them thanks. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Look up the names of those who signed it and everything.
We'll do that when we get home, won't we? All right, well, let's get hooked up and chained down, so we gotta get back south. Well, Gunner, we're back on the road heading home. What do you think about the dozer? I am absolutely tickled to death with it. It is in excellent shape, and all the pieces and parts, all the guards there, it's still got the factory work light on it, which is probably unheard of. So I'm extremely pleased with it. It needs a little bit of stuff. It's got a breakout adjustment. The tracks can be tightened a little bit, but overall, I could not be happier. So we're gonna hammer down and we will check it out a little bit better when we get home. You ready to roll?
Yep.
How's that? All right, Gunner and I got home late last night, managed to get the dozer unloaded and successfully in the shop. Checking it out a little bit this morning, guys. I am ecstatic. This thing is in unbelievable shape for being over 70 years old. I'm almost in absolute disbelief. So let me give you guys a little bit of a walk around here. Some of the things I noticed that showed this thing's, some of the things I noticed that really makes this dozer stand out from a lot of the other ones out there. First thing, the push arms. A lot of these old dozers, the push arm is broke right here or bowed way out, and that's for one of two reasons. Either the undercarriage is so wore it gets into the push arm, or the blade is so wore it goes back and forth. They've touched, but they've not touched much. Push arm's extremely straight. Everything looks really good there. All the track covers, I don't know if I've seen them with parts of the track covers on them. This has the track covers on both sides complete. There's one on the other side that needs a little bit of tweaking, but if it's there, we can fix it. That's absolutely huge. Original battery box, guys. I am missing the lid to it, but the original batteries box is there. It's not rusted out or anything. Original factory toolbox is here. Again, it's here, 100% complete, and I do actually have the operator's manual. It's supposed to go down in there, which is pretty doggone cool. So original tags on everything. If you guys look back here, there's the original serial number tag on it. The injection pump still has the tag on it right there, and service meter right there, which is pretty cool. Both engines, the pony motor, this has a little, I'll cover this more in some other videos, has a small gas engine you start with an electric motor. Small gas engine, once it's run, will actually start the diesel engine, the gas and diesel engine. Both seem to be working very, very, very well, which is, oh man, I'm excited, man. This is cool. Here's another cool thing I don't think I've ever seen on one. I'm pretty sure this is a factory Caterpillar light on this thing. Still in pretty good shape. So the biggest thing about these restoration projects is just having all the parts. And I think we've got all the parts to this one. And what few parts we don't have, between what I got, I think we can make a really, really, really nice dozer one of these days. Now, a few things I have noticed. I believe, I need to run the serial number, but I believe this one here is probably a few years newer than mine. I'm guessing this is probably a late 50s, early 60s. Couple things. One of the big ones is this here actually has hydraulic track adjusters on it. All mine have the old manual adjusters on it. This is obviously a way superior setup, and pretty excited to see that on it. This one here actually has a dry air cleaner on it. It looks like it's all 100% factory. A lot of the earlier ones have what they call a wet filter or an oil filter, which is a setup that's on the other one. So that's a little bit different, and I don't know 100% for sure what's different back here, but I think the funnel drive setups, the brake bands in them are possibly just a little bit different. You guys that know more about these dozers than I do, feel free to comment down below and educate me. And even the ball trimmings on the blade, guys, it's crazy. I'm sure there's another one out there in better shape, but I haven't seen it yet, especially for the price I gave for it. So it's not all good. This thing does need a few things. The fan belt is missing. It's gone. I'm hoping somebody hasn't ran this thing for too awful long and got it hot, so we need to get a fan belt on it before we do too much with it. It's got a pretty substantial coolant leak back there, and there's actually a tube up on top that goes from the pony motor down to there. This pony motor shares coolant with the engine. Two different reasons. One, helps keep the pony motor cool, but two, it also puts heat into the engine on cold days. So they pass coolant back and forth. I'm hoping it's just that pass-through tube that may be our issue. So we need to investigate that a little bit. Brakes. The left side brake is way out of adjustment, which is also fairly common on these old dozers. So ultimate goal is hopefully Gunner and I can do a complete service on this thing, check all the fluids, and possibly get this thing in operating order where we can kind of piddle with it a little bit and buy us some time until we get into the shop and do a full resto on it. So real quick in closing here, guys, a few things. The ultimate goal is this to be a Gunner and I project, and Gunner is probably just as excited about it as I am. And I want to make this thing a good, mechanically sound operating dozer. I don't want showroom quality showpiece. I want something that looks good and we can play with out in the yard and possibly take to a random job here or there just for the heck of it, but I do want to get it back to as close to original as possible. The canopy on it is all homemade. That's probably going to come off. Probably going to do a little bit of body work on the hood. And like I said, just get it good mechanically and sound. The one thing I'm struggling with is might convert it over to electric start, but keep the pony motor. I don't know. Electric start sure is a whole lot more convenient whenever you want to use it, but the pony motor runs good. Maybe we'll keep it on there. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. But man, I don't know if you can tell or not. I'm excited about it. And Keith, the guy we bought it from, if you're watching this, thanks so much. He was so awesome to Gunner whenever we were up there. I really enjoyed talking with him, and I appreciate him getting a hold of me and giving me the opportunity to buy this dozer, because it's definitely one of a kind for sure. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to make some good videos. It's going to be a good father-son project for me and Gunner, and I think if Dad was around, he'd be just as excited about it as what we are. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give her a big old thumbs up. Want to make sure you don't miss out on what's coming up next on this project, I'd consider subscribing. That way we can catch you guys on the next one. Later.